Alright, so today I'm going to be telling the story of Hansel and Gretel, which was a story that was written in the early 19th century by a couple of guys named the Brothers Grimm, colloquially. Unfortunately, I can't tell the original story because it's a little bit too dark for my taste. Probably too dark for the audience's taste as well, so we're going to go into a little bit more of a lighthearted version. Alright, so to set the scene, there's a great famine going on. And in the woods, this big, beautiful, huge patch of woods right in the middle, there's a little house, a cabin, with two parents and two children. The children were named Hansel and Gretel. And they were very hungry. They didn't have very much to eat. They were going to sleep at night thinking of just anything they could eat. Breadcrumbs, bread crust, whatever. So they wake up in the morning and their father says, could you please go out into the woods and find some wood for us to bake some bread on? So they get up in the morning, they go out into the woods, they go out to search for a tree, and they're just looking around and they can't find the right tree. It's always too little, it's always too thick. And as they're walking, they're leaving these little breadcrumbs behind them so they can find their way back to their house when they're done looking for wood. After a while, a couple hours of looking, they look behind them and they see a little rabbit eating the trail of breadcrumbs. Naturally, they're lost. And they look around, they say, what are we going to do? How are we going to find our way back to our house? And they see this little bird up in the tree that tweets at them a little friendly tweet and just flies off into this clearing. Hansel and Gretel sprint over towards the clearing and they see, basking in the sun, beautiful clearing. Right in the middle, there's a gingerbread house with gumdrops and icing and pretty much everything you could think of. So they go up to the door, press the little gumdrop doorbell, and a witch answers the door. And she says, well, come in. And they come in. And they sit down at this big peppermint patty table. And she comes up and offers them all this food. And naturally, they just dig in. They're so hungry. And they just eat and eat and eat. And they are getting plumper and plumper, much to the delight of the witch. So she goes over to the oven, opens up the oven, and lures the children in. The kids are like, I'm not going to climb into the oven. That's ridiculous. She's like, well, I fed you all this stuff. And they're like, oh, absolutely not. So, with their size and strength, Hansel and Gretel charge right at the witch, push her into the oven, close it, turn on the oven, and run out the door. They sprint all the way back to their house after hours and hours of looking, and they tell their father what had happened. And now they live in a big gingerbread house in the woods with everything they could eat. The end.